If you've seen Savor the Flavors before, you know I always enjoy cooking with fresh herbs, and I'm always looking for new ways to incorporate them in my recipes. Right now, my basil is growing like crazy, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to share with you one of my favorite recipes using basil, my basil lemonade. To make this, of course, we need lemons, and we need enough lemons to squeeze 1 cup of fresh juice. And we also need some fresh basil. And here I've got a 1/4 cup measure that I've packed with basil leaves. And that doesn't sound like a lot of basil, but as you'll see, I'll take them out here, it actually is a lot of basil, so you get to use a lot of it in this recipe. On the stove, I've got a saucepan, and in it I have a cup of water. To that, I'm going to add 1 cup of granulated sugar. And then we're just going to turn this on. And what we're going to do is just heat this and stir it until that sugar dissolves. Okay, once the sugar has dissolved, then it's time to add our basil. And then we're just going to give it a little bit of a stir. And we just want to heat this just for about a minute. You want to be careful not to simmer it or bring it to a boil. Just heat it. Okay, and then what we're going to do is just turn this off, and we're just going to let the basil leaves just kind of steep in that simple syrup, and they'll infuse the syrup with that wonderful basil flavor as it cools. And while that's going on, we'll juice our lemons. Once the simple syrup is cooled to room temperature, it's time to make your lemonade. And I like to start by straining the lemon juice. I always want to make sure and get any of those little seeds out of there that might be left. And then we'll strain our simple syrup as well. Okay, that does it. And now all you have to do to make basil lemonade is just add enough water to make 2 quarts. Now sometimes if I'm having guests, I like to dress it up just a little bit. I'll make it to this point and refrigerate it, and then as my guests arrive, I'll take a little club soda or seltzer and add it instead of regular water because fizz is fun. I think it's a little more festive this way. And then we'll give it a little bit of a stir. I always like making homemade lemonade because my grandmother always did, and it's one of my favorite childhood memories. She always made the best, and I'm hoping I was a good student. Anyway, to serve this, what I like to do is just take a nice tall glass and put some ice in it. And in between the ice, I like to put some basil leaves because they're pretty. And also you get more of that basil flavor. One of the health properties of basil is that it naturally cools your body. So what better thing to put in a summer refreshment than basil, right? And we'll just pour some of our lemonade over it. Basil is also good for people who have some digestive problems because it really helps with that. There we go. And we're just going to add a little piece of lemon on there and maybe another little piece of basil. And then we'll add a straw and taste. That is fantastic. The perfect sweet and tart between the lemon and the simple syrup. And that basil, it's just a wonderful herbal coolness, and it's sort of on the finish. It's not overwhelming, just delicious. I think you'll love basil lemonade. Cheers.